Okay. My name's Kamran Samimi. I'm from Hawaii, and I'm a sculptor and painter. I was really intrigued by Nishi Aizu's very diverse and aged natural landscape. The town and village has been here for a long time, and humans have a long history of interacting with the materials of this landscape. So the stone, the wood, the trees, the river, the mountains, the animals. So this area feels very old and has a very strong, I think, tangible, physical spirit that it's very easy to observe, for me as an outsider even. I'm sad. I think it went by so fast, and it feels almost like a dream. When I came the first time, I was here for 1 month. And the first maybe 2 weeks, time went very slow. Last 2 weeks was very fast. And at the end of the 4 weeks, I felt like, oh, I wish I had 1 more month, more time. Because I was just starting to scrape the surface. And then this time I came back for about two weeks. And, my work is always about time. As a human being, I think that we are always kind of wrestling with time. Time is passing, we are getting older, we're changing. And that's one reason I work with stone, is because stone also affected by time, but on such a different scale. So for the short time I've been here in Nishi Aizu, for me, time seems to pass differently here. Sometimes very fast, sometimes very slow. Of course, the weather changes dramatically, and that affects how I perceive time. So it's been wonderful and also kind of sad to leave. So the theme of this exhibition is, the title is Recollection. And the idea of recollection is kind of a play on words. To recall is sort of to remember. So to look back into the past, remember something relates to memory, and of course, time passing. And then literally collection. I've collected all these stones and this wood from this area and brought it here into the gallery. So it's sort of my work as an artist, as an observer, visitor to Nishi Aizu and this region, visiting, observing, collecting, composing in the space, kind of like curation, making decisions, relating to the past, thinking about this region's history and the scale of time, humans, how long humans have lived in this area. And now the area is a little depopulated. Some people have left, and so there are empty homes and less cars and empty structures. But the traces of humans still remains. So presence and absence. We can still feel the presence of the humans even though they are absent. And I look at the stones and I see places in which stones have been pushed aside because humans built something. And yet the stones are still there, but they're piled or displaced. They don't have their original place. And so humans kind of push them away. And so these stones I've collected from areas where humans maybe once were, and perhaps the humans have left. And so now the stones remain. The stones were there first. The stones are still there. Humans came, humans left. And so now I came in and kind of collected some stones. And I think these stones are all very unique and very individuals. So every stone has its own face and a story of its creation. Every stone is a different age. And yet they're all here together, just like us, human beings. And we share this space with each other, with the stones, with the structure, with the earth, with the trees, the mountains, all of these, we're here together. So that's part of the theme is how do humans relate to our environment, and what have we done in the past? How do we live now? How can we live in the future with the natural world? So in the other space, there's fragments of a tree installed kind of in a semicircular configuration where someone can enter and sit inside of the tree. And that tree, those fragments are from a tree that grew right in front of Hikawa's shrine and was probably many hundreds of years old, really huge tree. And it fell down, natural causes, and was kind of cut up. And so one day I visited the shrine and I saw those fragments. And that shrine is very serene and tranquil and quiet, but also feels like it at one point was very lively, and now the shrine is sort of lonely, maybe doesn't get so many visitors. But I imagine that tree, how many people have come, walked up those stairs, said their prayer, given a hope or made a wish or a dream, and that tree has watched them, and I think absorbed some of that intention. And then now the tree has fallen down, and so I wanted to honor the tree, collect its pieces, and create another shrine. So in that room, it's a shrine for the tree, but also a second shrine where people can visit the tree, again, remember our thoughts and dreams, or even just experience a quiet, serene, calm space while looking at the washi ishi, the stones made of washi, and just kind of, in a way, contemplate the universe, the cosmic ocean, and each stone is an island or a planet or a landscape of its own. I think working here has been unique in many ways. It's, I've visited Japan many times, but it's every time I've come to Japan, I've always been inspired and felt like, oh, I want to make some artwork here. And so it's the first time I've been able to kind of explore being in this place in the way that is most natural for me, which is to create, to make things. And when I am able to do that, I can interact with a place in a much deeper way, to like touch the rocks. And my process is really a lot of talking with this stone. So I kind of talk to it and listen to its answer. And before I cut or carve, I always ask the stone, how do you want to be part of my artistic process? How can I relate to you? And how can we communicate? And to me, stones don't speak with words, but the language that they understand is one that is very ancient, and it's kind of like pressure, gravity, tension, rupture, fragmentation, and these are the ways that the earth can speak. And so my tools are kind of following that method of speaking or communicating. And there's nothing that I can do that ever makes the stone better. The stone is always perfect. So what I really try to do is I ask the stone what it thinks and what it wants to be, and I help it become what it wants to achieve the form, its next form, for the next chapter of its life. And so some of these stones that are kind of split, broken, to me it's not a violent process, because that is the natural process of a stone. Over time, the stone breaks, and then it breaks again, and it breaks again over 1,000,000 years. And slowly, the stone kind of relaxes and returns to the earth. I think it's a very peaceful process. So when I ask the stone permission and then break the stone, it's actually like the stone kind of relaxing and release. And so I think it's sort of a way that the stone is returning to its source, just like we do when we die. We return to the soil and then we become you know, the flowers and the grass and the trees and the animals, and the stone also does that. I would just invite them to come into these spaces. And, you know, I was here for a very short time as a visitor myself, you know, an outsider. I'm not doing anything or showing anything that you don't already know. If you grew up here or you live close by, you know, I can't show you something new. This is your landscape. So just as an outsider, maybe I can see it with a fresh eye, fresh perspective. And for me, it's really, wow, look at all these beautiful stones that you have in this place. Hawaii, we have very beautiful stone, but it's all one type because the land is very young. So the earth is still being born, but Japan is much older. So you have all these different colors and textures and hardness and softness, so much variety. So for me as an outsider, it's really exciting to see. So I would just say to visitors, look, this is part of your world. Isn't it beautiful? And I didn't make it better. I didn't tell you something new. I'm just appreciating your place. Same, I think, with the wood sculpture, the red soil painting, the washi stone. Again, it's just me kind of exploring this place and expressing my appreciation of all the beautiful things here and this moment in time when I've got to be here. So I welcome you to come and see your place from a different perspective, but the perspective that is not just my perspective, but I tried to make it kind of just human perspective, universal. Wherever somebody comes from on this planet, we all have so many things in common. We all have connection to the earth, to stone, to wood, you know, to paper, to architecture, to landscape. And so these are common elements, common themes. So we all can belong in this place. Old, young, Western, Japanese, you know, wherever you're from. Everybody belongs in these places.